Doc says, Gus, your cholesterol is high. I said, how high? He says, high enough that I'm concerned. I said, Doc, I've been concerned since 1987, hasn't killed me yet. He says, you need to change your diet. I said, I changed it last year. I switched to butter from margarine. He just stared at me. I took that as a yes on the butter. So my doctor looks at his little chart, looks at me and goes, Gus, you're overweight. I said, Doc, at my age, I prefer the term well insulated. He says, you need more exercise. I said, I do exercise. Every night I get up 3 times because of that water pill you gave me. He goes, no, I mean real exercise. I said, Doc, if God wanted me to run in my 70s, he wouldn't have invented naps. He writes something down and says, we'll discuss diet next visit. I said, you might want to schedule extra time. Me and pizza got a complicated relationship. Doc walks in, snaps on that glove. You know the one, sounds like a balloon getting mad. He goes, all right, Gus, you know the drill. I said, Doc, at my age, I don't know any drills I enjoy. He says, this might feel a little uncomfortable. I said, so will the stories I tell my buddies about you after this. He laughs, says, it's important, it keeps you healthy. I said, Doc, if you cared about my health, you'd at least buy me dinner first. Then he says, relax, Gus. I said, you ever tried relaxing when a man with a glove tells you not to worry? My wife says I don't listen, at least I think that's what she said. Truth is, after 40 years of marriage, we don't fight much. We just negotiate through selective hearing. She talks from the kitchen, I answer from the recliner, and somewhere in the middle we agree I'll be wrong. Marriage ain't about agreeing, it's about knowing which battles are worth fighting. And the answer is none of them, not one. My wife turned the thermostat up to 74. I said, it's like a greenhouse in here. She said, I'm cold. I said, put a sweater on. She said, you put a sweater on. So I said, listen, we've been married 34 years. We both know you wear the pants, so just put a sweater on too. My wife got a new phone. Now she texts instead of yells. I thought that was progress. Then I got 12 texts in a row, all capital letters. Apparently capitals mean she's still yelling. I didn't know there were rules. I actually kind of missed the yelling. At least I knew when it was over. I tried to log into my bank on my phone. It says, wrong password. So I type it again. Real careful. Wrong password. I hit forgot password. It says, enter your old password. I said, buddy, if I knew that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Then it goes, check your email. So I open my email, and it says, we sent a code to your phone. So now my phone is waiting on my email, and my email is waiting on my phone. At this point, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to see my money that bad. Woke up this morning, my knee popped, my back cracked, my neck did something I don't have a word for. I stood up and my hip joined in. By the time I got to the kitchen, I sounded like a bowl of cereal. My wife didn't even look up. I've become background noise in my own house.